The effects is more important than the process. And you must always set the conditions. I'm going to use this video here this morning and talk about some leadership qualities and traits. And I'm going to use an example of something that just took place here on the community because it's the best time to be able to communicate this. It's the optimal time to be able to use this as a teaching tool. Okay, you had said sister that had the duty and responsibility. Not only was it a duty and responsibility, but it was an obligation for her to take care of a said food item. All right. So sister said, or that said sister communicated with one of the sisters that is in charge and authority of the kitchen to make sure that everything in the kitchen is running at optimum speed, pace, and to make sure that the food is done and prepared with the greatest honor of integrity and quality that it can be, since we're feeding the saints of the Most High Yah. All right, so said sister communicates by video apparatus to the one that is charged to make sure that the meal, or we can call her the manager of the kitchen, is done. But however, the manager of the kitchen never did respond back to what said sister, who was supposed to make sure that her duties got covered if she was not going to be there. And so it was just left. Now, that is totally 100% unacceptable. And what I'm speaking to you about now is leadership qualities, things that should automatically be in us as a people. So listen very closely. So if you have a duty, and you have to understand, as we function as a community and as a team, if one person drops the ball in any place on the community, then the whole community ends up suffering because of someone else's incompetence or dropping the ball or not accomplishing the said mission. Okay, so the salad bar wasn't prepared. I did say just food item. I'm going to go ahead and say it. The salad bar just wasn't prepared. So it's left out in limbo because the sister that was responsible for preparing the salad communicated through video apparatus, out of which the manager of the kitchen never did receive the communique. So it was assumed that she received it. But that's also dropping the ball because the manager of the kitchen never did communicate, or nor did she get back with the sister who was in charge of the salad bar to make sure that it gets done. It didn't get done. So now comes dinner time for the saints of the Most High Yah with all this wonderful produce that the Most High Yah is producing here on his land. And the salad bar is not done. And this is probably a good day that I didn't go to the dining hall, because if I was in the dining hall and I went there, because I'm the said CEO and in position, if you understand what I mean, then I would have started preaching and raising the roof off the building, because we have precious people, the saints of the Most High Yah, who give their blood, sweat, and tears to the function of this ministry and this community. And everybody looks forward to the salad bar because it's natural produce, it's produce, wonderful produce that has been produced from this community with blood, sweat, and tears, without herbicides, pesticides, chemicals, or any other thing that will be a detriment against your body. And so, but now it's not there. So now the sisters have to scurry in order to make sure that the salad bar, which should have been done, and now is no longer done. See, what we do is we think that since we communicated with someone and yet they did not respond, yet they did not answer, we just leave it in limbo. And now we don't have salad. Now, we did end up having salad because the sisters had to scurry around. And I'm telling you right now, it is very fortunate for the community that I didn't go to dinner this evening. Because if I'd went to dinner this evening, it would have been another teaching obligation or another teaching moment to be able to bring people up from a certain level of mindset and the way that they think and the way that they process thought. You see, in this, in everything we do, it's always about our brothers and our sisters, the people in front of us, and then taking care of them, because we're all servants. And being on the community or being in the ministry, you have to be a man and woman of integrity. And you have to have an undefeatable mindset. And your mindset has to be working in such a way that the mission never suffers because of incompetence. So said sister did her, in her mind, she communicated through a video apparatus, and the message never did get delivered. Now the saints don't have this wonderful salad that we're able to produce. They end up still getting it, but it was just thrown together, if you understand what I mean. And guess what Pastor Dowell just so happened to be eating today? I just happened to be eating one of our salads. And the first thing I asked is where's the Brother Crunch? Because we have looked like the Black Sea Simpson lettuce in there, but where's the Brother Crunch? That was just all was there. And so it was a dismal attempt at a salad that normally it's working at 100% proficiency and optimum. It's optimum for everybody, including our health and everything, but it was just thrown together today because somebody did not follow up. They didn't ensure that the communication that they were supposed to do to get to the other person, they did not go the extra mile and follow up with them and make sure that they get it in order to make sure that the community itself as a whole, would have a wonderful salad to eat. And this is where I come in. So I go to the elder of the community and I begin to communicate steps where he can actually go to the head of that household and begin to communicate with them that no excuses is made. Like, for instance, leader, elder of community communicates with me what the husband said, and of course it was an excuse. I mean, in other words, I did this part, but I never did get the other part. So it was a teaching tool to me to not only teach my elder, but to be able to speak in such a manner and a way, not only to the head of the family, but now speaking to all of us right here to let us know, listen, you cannot continue to keep going around in life assuming everything is going to get done because you communicated, and you assume that everybody else is automatically going to make up the head. It is your duty, it's your responsibility, it is your obligation to make sure that if you have a duty, that it gets done. That if you can't show up to a project or just don't show up because you said you communicate with someone who may have not had a video apparatus to receive your communication, and then you just leave it there in limbo, that is the utter epitome of sorriness. And it's a direct reflection upon the lives and the way that you run it. That's literally the way that people run their lifestyle nowadays. And then they get offended whenever you tell them you did not follow up, you did not follow through, and you didn't ensure that your duties was actually covered. See, most people think that, well, because I made a video on a said device, video apparatus, that I've done everything. But no, look, we still ended up with a failed mission here because guess what? Nobody ended up getting a salad. When we did get a salad, we got one that was thrown together. I had salad with avocado tuna. That's what I had for dinner today. And I could tell that the salad was put together nice because my Isha did it. But at the same time, I could tell main ingredients of the salad, which we would normally have, was just simply not there. And of course, me being a leader, I have to use this as a teaching tool. I have to use this as a means to bring people up from the ash heap of the mindset that they have and the defeatist mentality and attitude. And listen, excuses don't fly with me. There's always a solution for everything. And after you've done exhausted every means and every effort possible, and then the mission fails, then we can go back and do an after action review and figure out where did we miss it, what did we do wrong, and how can we better perfect ourselves in this to make sure that this fundamental no-go, this error, this lapse in judgment never, ever, ever happens again. That's called perfection. So you're not ever to be content with being mediocre. You're not ever to be content just because someone gives you an answer and it's just an answer. No, you have to probe and you have to really dig, because there's no way we're going to go on to perfection if we just continue to let people stay in the state that they are in without any reproof, correction, or instruction. And once we get the reproof, the correction, instruction, and after it's fully understood, because on this community, what I'm talking to all of y'all about right now, it is fully understood, but yet and still, it could be some spiritual problems, it could be some natural problems, or it could just be simple, I don't give a damn. It could be either one of those. And of course, now it's up to me to assess which area it was. Because now I've got the saints of the Most High Yah who has actually done work their rear ends off today to sit down at a meal out of which we have wonderful meals here because the majority of stuff we eat actually is produced from this land. And when you sit down to a wonderful meal, a nice dinner, man, you know that builds morale. That keeps a wonderful spirit on the land and stuff, especially when people can eat a food that's a blessing. So I hope that I've used this particular platform here on YouTube as an example to show people, especially Israelites, how we are all supposed to function and be. And listen, just don't use this in just one area of your life. Let this be a way of life. And in this way of life right here, it's a way of peace. It's a way of perfection. And you would know what? You will find out for yourself if you start implementing these disciplines in life, that you will become the person that you've always wanted to be, even if you never even thought about it, but you can look back and you will actually be proud of the person that you have become because you are better off today than what you were yesterday. Hope it says something to stimulate thought. You have a wonderful day. King coming.